Good morning. I hope you had a better night than I did. Um, I've mentioned before in another video about our hibernators in the ceiling, and last night I was disturbed, well, probably 2 or 3 times by it's either a Lero, Lerot, or a Loir, Loir, that's hibernating. I'm going to turn this around so you can see over there in the corner above the fireplace where that green log bin, empty log bin is. The ceiling above there is where it hibernates, and that above that is our wooden floor and into the bedroom, and my chest of drawers sits on top of that. So what we get is Mr. Nocturnal coming in and, I don't know, making lots of noise, and our floorboards creak, and my chest of drawers sounds like somebody's trying to get in it. I mean, I'm used to it. I know that there isn't somebody, but it really does sound like the whatever it is, Lero Loire, is in the bedroom rather than between the ceiling in here and the floor up there. And you can see the ceiling. It's disgusting. It's wooden slats. It looks more disgusting further over, actually. It doesn't look too bad from there. And the thought of, well, the cost of bringing all that down and the incredible mess of bringing all that down means it can't happen yet. One day, I think, it'll be when we inherit. I shall say to Mark, okay, we'll move out and we'll go away, and the ceilings can come down and something else can go in its place. And the difficulty is it's quite narrow between the beams, and I would want that to be replaced and the beams to stay. I wouldn't want to just drop. I mean, that would be amazing. If you drop the ceiling below the beams, you'd lose. I can't do metric. You'd lose. Actually, that's 20 centimetres. I can do metric. You'd lose 20 centimetres of height. And the ceiling's, it's fine here. I mean, I'm short, but it would, I think I would feel, a bit oppressed by it. So I would want whatever they do here, whether it would be plasterboard or something, put back in between. So it wouldn't be a quick job. But if we could afford to leave, because it would be a disgusting job. God knows how it is up there. Well, I can imagine how it is. I'm not going to talk to you about how I imagine it is, but it would be lovely to change that. So anyway, we were up at 7, and both of us, bit of a shock that Mark was up, and I feel that I was disturbed at least twice in the night. I thought the Lero was protected, the Lero Loire. It's, if you look up, I shall put some links in, but it's also known as edible dormouse, and they've got like a mask. They look like they've got eye makeup on, like a Zorro mask around here, and they've got a long thin tail with a fluffy bit at the end. I was sitting outside one day on the phone out at the front of the house talking to somebody, and all of a sudden there was a thump, and I looked, and beside me on the ground was what looked like a dead Lero. It must have fallen from some height, because it must have fallen from some height up in the roof, or maybe from up in the ceiling. And after a minute, it got up and ran away. So it wasn't dead. We also found a very, very young, tiny, half dead one in the garage years ago, and actually looked after it for a while. Mark did. Looked after it for a while. It was really cute. We fed it milk, we fed it water, we fed it, and eventually it would eat. It would sit holding a sultana, eating on it. Really, really cute. And then realised that because they're hibernators, and they apparently hibernate for about 9 months of the year, you need to tell that to the one in our ceiling at the moment. We realised it would just eat and eat and eat and eat and get bigger and bigger and bigger. So because we're kind and stupid, once it was old enough to fend for itself, we released it back up into the grenier to rejoin its family. We called it Velcro because when it gripped, and it was like Velcro. It was amazing. But yeah, so we're our own worst enemy, really. So we've now got definitely that one under there, and probably a couple more. Well, that's actually quiet. I think possibly the problem is they're meant to be hibernating now, but because this room gets so warm with the wood burner, it's really warm up there, so they've no need to hibernate, which is why they're. So if the house was cold, the Lero would be asleep, but the house is too warm. So yes, wildlife in rural France is interesting. We were coming home the other day, sort of in, I don't know, mid-afternoon, so the sun was just beginning to, just dropping slightly in the sky, and all across from the fields across the road you could see the fine silk strands of ballooning spiders, which is just absolutely amazing. It's just the sky, the fields, the road. It's just full and full of ballooning spiders. I've sat here in the garden, and I've tried to video it on an older phone than I use now. I'm actually on my tablet. My tablet at the moment. Some years ago, and I uploaded it, and I will link to one that I uploaded, but all you can see are the spider. Well, you can't even see their spiders, but I can tell you they're spiders flying across. But it is just fascinating watching these ballooning spiders, and it's how they get around, how they move and go off and breed somewhere else. The other thing I was going to tell you about wildlife, what did I say? Lero, spiders, blowflies. We get, because the Loire brings in whatever it's killed to eat, because it's carnivorous. Sometimes something dies up there. We've not had it for a long time, actually. Something will die up there, and of course when something dies, then the flies find it and lay their eggs, and you get maggots, and we don't see any of that. The only evidence that we see is we start to get dozy, newly hatched blowflies, and something has happened upstairs somewhere, because when we went to bed last night, there were, I think I probably very briefly counted 8, but I wasn't really counting because I was trying to get through our bedroom door before they would follow me in, because they're a bit dozy, but if you put a light on, then they start going towards the light. So Mark was up there this morning dealing with that, with his fly swat. So that's pretty gross. We used to get every so often a smell. So we'd go into our bedroom and there would be, it's sort of a stale cabbage smell. And obviously the first time we came across it, we just totally confused by it and couldn't work out what it was. And it was pretty disgusting. And after a couple of days, it dissipates and it's gone. And that would happen once a year. And we now sort of have decided it must be something dying between the ceiling and so there's like this, the gap's not that big, it's about that much between the ceiling and our floor, but obviously lots of stuff can get in there and live there, and that is what happens, and stuff lives and dies there, and you get blowflies. So that's nice. The other thing, that was it, I've remembered moles. Masses and masses of molehills all over, out the back there, you know, where the sheep are, where it's really big. In this part, the smaller part, out the front, get really big. There's a couple of really big big molehills. And in France, quite often the French put explosives down the hole, some sort of explosive thing to kill the moles. And again, we don't really like killing things, so we don't do that. And I guess what's happened is that the moles are breeding. So because Mark said they seem much more active now, because we've got loads of molehills. And I said, well, there's probably more of them now because we don't do anything about them. I can remember when we first came to look at this house, and I walked around the back and was walking and thinking, oh my God, what's under here? It really feels so soft and lumpy under here. Yeah, because the grass was really long, you couldn't really see. I was quite concerned. It felt marshy, it felt boggy. And sort of thinking, not really sure what that is. And of course, I've realised since that it was molehills that I was walking on, because I often nearly topple over on a molehill or fall down a bloody, my foot drops down a hole, because when they do come out, sometimes they leave a hole about that big. So yeah, rural France, you need to gird your loins. You get spiders indoors. You get big house spiders. You get other spiders. There's always, you can clear all the webs away one day, and within 2 days they're all back. And I don't worry. I'm not really bothered about spiders, and I don't worry about spider webs. And I'm not a houseworky person, so I see bits that the sun shines through sometimes. I think, oh my God, because it shines on the web, and I go, oh my God, and I do nothing about it. One day, sometimes I do, but not very often. So yeah, very disturbed night, not very happy about that, and nothing. Well, so what I've decided, what I decided, because when you're laying there awake, having been disturbed for the third time, and thinking about all the things you can do, I think the only answer is we either kill the LERO, which isn't going to be something that we'll do, or we can buy something like a rug, or I'm thinking doormats because they're really cheap. I can get some doormats in a supermarket and sit my chest of drawers onto the doormats, which will deaden the noise. Because I'm not one for having animals in the bedroom. So Jazz, the cat, isn't allowed in the bedroom. And part of that is because, she may not settle and she'll disturb us. And I'm thinking, well, she'd be less disturbing than the bloody LERO. So there. I hope you're going to have a nice Sunday. I hope you've had a good sleep. And we'll see how long this takes to upload. They're going up quite quickly at the moment. I'll put some links in for LEROs and my YouTube of ballooning spiders and something else, just so you can have a look. And yeah. And thanks for the interaction on the yesterday's vlog. It's really odd to be interacting with people. It's quite interesting. It's really interesting to hear about how you came to be here, or what your plans are, or what you're doing. So thanks for that. Okay. Bon dimanche.